Sorry, just next thing, slightly out of my usual position. Welcome to the drop-in. Just bring up the chat. Hello. Hi Darren, good to have you with me. Not sure if we've met before. Hi Sylvia. It's nice to know this. Put some sort of names to the numbers here. So we'll have a sense of who's watching in the moment, but yeah, often don't know who that is. It's nice to be able to a bit more of a feel for it. So I'll sort of go into just introducing what we will be doing today. But very welcome if this is your first time in this session anyway. So yes, this is another one of the meditation sessions, Friday lunchtime. So in these we alternate between two different meditations. We do the mindfulness of breathing, which is what we're going to be doing today. And we also do the metabhavana, the cultivation of the loving kindness practice, which is all about working with our emotional responses to ourselves and other people. But yeah, this week we are doing looking at the breath. So yeah, so I'll give a little introduction. So you don't need to be in meditation posture just yet. You're to sit at ease, as it were. Yeah, so last time I was talking about the value, that was last week's meditation, we were looking at the metabolic, I was talking about the value of just sticking to a form, and yeah, this is a kind of strength and stability that comes from sticking with a form. So just going through the stages as you've learned them, and staying with that, if you, yeah, so resisting the urge to kind of to just do what we feel like doing on the day. There are advantages to having a particular set way of doing a meditation. Yeah, so yeah, so today I'm going to be talking about the other end of that, which is the value of sort of adapting slightly to your personal sort of needs on that day, or sort of reading where you are. So it is a bit of a tightrope, I think, between the form and a more kind of responsive approach to meditation. And for most of us, I suspect that we probably need to emphasize the form and just sticking with what with the stages as we've learned them, and yeah, not worrying too much if we don't feel like doing it exactly that way that day. Having said that, yeah, there are ways that you can kind of tweak things a little bit just to respond to how you're feeling. So one of the obvious ones is that if we're really struggling to get some sense of flow or momentum in the practice, then we can always come back to a previous stage, particularly once we get out of the counting stages into the later ones. Yeah, it can be helpful. I've certainly find it helpful if I realise I'm just completely lost, that I can always go back to counting, and yeah, and sometimes that really helps me to kind of ground down if I feel like I'm all over the place. The thread is just the counting the one number after another is, yeah, just really helpful. If you're watching this and you have no idea what I'm talking about, there is a set of Toolkit videos which will introduce all the basic practices, which you can find in links in the video description. I could have said that at the start. Yeah, so the other thing is that also kind of works the other way around. Interestingly, sometimes I find when things are really sort of flowing, that it can be interesting to revisit the counting from that state, a much more kind of relaxed place. And sometimes even that just sort of takes you a step deeper as well. So there's, yeah, we can play around with sort of going back to a previous stage and just seeing what the effect is. Yeah, and there are also some days where we can sort of see what it's like to not count and just go straight into the third stage. I'll warn you about this because I know a lot of people are tempted to do this because I'm speaking to myself. It's just the counting can be kind of it can be a little bit boring, and it's very easy to wander off, and it's very easy to feel somewhat frustrated by this task that we've seem to have been set, which doesn't have a goal. Particularly if we're wandering and we're not getting anywhere, we keep losing it at 3 or 4 or something. And then when you do get to the third stage, sometimes that just feels like a relief. So it sort of feels tempting, this again speaking to myself, sometimes just to skip the first 2, skip the boring bit and just do the kind of more free-flowing third stage. And that probably does say something about, for me at least, the way I'm holding the first 2 stages. I'm holding them a bit too tensely. I'm sort of forcing things a little bit. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the best thing for me to do is to skip them. I do notice on retreat sometimes, having said that there is such a sense of momentum already built up if I've sat before that day, that it doesn't quite feel necessary to count, to do the first 2 stages of counting. And going into the third stage, there's already a bit of a sense of momentum. So you might be having a particularly, you might notice that as you go into the first and second stages that you're ready to move on to the third one. And if you feel confident in that, then just see what happens, move forwards. So I hope from all of those examples there's still a sense that the form is there, the structure of the 4 stages in this case, as we're doing the mindfulness of breathing today. That doesn't go away, but there's a sense that as we get more familiar with the practice, we can tweak things a bit. We can engage more creatively with that structure. So we know what each of the stages, sort of what effect they have on us, where they might be more helpful one day or where it's fine for us to move on. So there won't be, perhaps there's just that to communicate that that's something that's really interesting to notice, that as we learn what all of the stages do, we can start to read ourselves and with a bit of intuition kind of see what stage is going to be most helpful for us to dwell on that particular day. So we don't have to be completely rigid about how we go about the practice. Having said that, all of that is sort of best done with some input from someone else. So if you're connected with a centre or you have a teacher in some way, feel free to message us here, whether it's in the chat or email or however you want to. Just if you're starting to experiment with things and we're trying to navigate the practice day to day, seeing how you can tweak it, then it's best done in dialogue with someone else, another experienced practitioner, even a community of other people who might have had the same experiences. We are here to engage with if that will be helpful for you as well. Okay, well that's probably enough. So you want to settle into your meditation posture if you're not already in it. So we are grounding down at the same time rising up, setting aside whatever we've been preoccupied with already today. Taking a few moments of quiet. Connecting with our intention, our reason for practicing, even if it's just a very vague sense of why we do this. From there, we're connecting with our bodies, getting to know the actual physical sensations in them at this particular moment. The head, the face, the lips and the jaw. The neck and shoulders. The arms and hands. Chest and back. Belly and lower back. Groin and pelvis. All the way down into the legs. Thighs, knees, calves and ankles, ending in the feet. Getting a good broad sense of the whole body. Relaxing wherever we find tension. And from this engagement with the body, and taking that as our launching point into the mindfulness of breathing. So gradually becoming aware of the different sensations that make up the breath. So in the first stage, breathing in, breathing out, counting 1 after the out breath. Breathing in, breathing out, counting 2. Breathing at our normal rate, counting 1 number at a time. Working all the way up to 10, and then starting again. And not to worry if we've wandered off, lost the thread. Just calmly setting down the distraction, whatever object we've taken up, and coming back to the breath. Just counting very gently most of our awareness with the breath, dropping those numbers in. Like leaves meeting still water. It doesn't matter how many times we wander off. That process of coming back is an integral part of what we're doing. Strengthening the mental habit of mindfulness. Drawing together our mental energies each time we return. Moving into phase 2. Starting to count before the in-breath. Counting 1, breathing in, breathing out. Counting 2, breathing in, breathing out. Counting one number at a time, all the way up to 10. And then starting again. Counting before the in-breath. In keeping with our theme, you can make the transition from the previous stage as gradually as you like. And we're still grounded in our bodies, still softening when we encounter tension, relaxing, remaining upright. Moving deeper into our awareness of the breath. Still coming back each time we wander off. Finding the breath, taking up the counting. Moving again to the third stage, letting go of the counting, but staying with the breath. And again, in line with our theme, if you're aware that you still need the support of the numbers, you don't need to transition right away, you can stay in the second stage. And still working on the mindfulness of the breath, no matter which stage we're in. If we are in the third stage, taking this opportunity to explore the breath and its different aspects, its different qualities. Simply allowing the breath to absorb more and more of our attention. Allowing it to become more and more fascinating. And if we feel completely scattered, there are always the preceding stages to fall back on. Taking up some counting again till we feel ready to move on. Coming to the fourth, final stage. Becoming aware of the air as it enters the body, when we feel it meeting the lips, the nostrils. It could even be the back of the throat. Bringing our awareness to bear on that point, making the transition whenever we're ready. When we've made our choice, we can just drop all ideas about the body, all images of where we're paying attention to, seeing if we can come as direct as we can to the unmediated, raw experience of the breath flowing in this place. Still working with distraction when it arises. Maybe dropping back to the third stage, just to ground, and then engaging again with the breath at that particular point. And we're not trying to block out the rest of our bodies. We're still very much in touch in a certain way. It's just that the sensations in that place have really grown to absorb us quite fully. So they are the foremost thing in our minds, without having to exclude willfully anything else. Gradually letting go of that intention, coming back to a broad awareness of the body that we started with, tuning in again, noticing what's changed. Taking a few final moments just to sit without any intention at all. We don't need to justify this to ourselves. It's enough just to be, without any particular intention. What desires or motives do arise, just noticing them, allowing them to pass on. In a moment I'm going to ring the bell. After I've done that, you can draw the meditation to a close and open your eyes whenever you're ready. Okay, well I hope that was a good sit for you. Feel free to let me know who I've got in the chat. It's nice to sit with you, Darren and Sylvia. I had you earlier. Hope you're still with me. Yeah, so that's the end of these sort of 2 sessions I've been doing about structure and freedom. Is freedom? Maybe freedom's not quite the right word. Playfulness, perhaps we'll call it that. So yeah, last week I was talking about sticking to the form, really having really understanding the value and the support that a form gives us, a particular set of stages and a way of approaching meditation. And this week I was sort of introducing a bit more about how we can adjust that to respond to how we're feeling on a particular day. Yeah, so I think even when we are being playful and adapting things, yeah, we're still sort of understanding that through the form and the value of the form. It's like yeah, as we get to know the form really well, we sort of start to understand where we might need to emphasize part of it more than another, just to get the most out of it in this given our state of mind on a particular day. If in doubt, 4 stages, do them same length. Yeah, if I have no idea what's going on, they're always there. You can go back to that. Yes, that's good to say as well. Yeah, so we will be back next week, Tuesday evening. No, sorry, Tuesday lunchtime will be the next one. With Rachel at 1 o'clock. I'll be back next week on Friday as well. Yeah, please take care and enjoy the rest of your day. If you are able to contribute financially to the centre, there are links to make donations below. We are a little bit short this month. We're fine, but yeah, if you can support us, that would be great. Yeah, I'm now supported full-time as the centre manager, so some of that goes to keeping me fed and warm and all the basic human amenities. Yeah, so thank you very much for that. Yeah, otherwise, please take care, and I will see you soon. Yeah, thank you, Sylvia. Thanks, Darren. I'm just going to stay a couple of moments more, just see if anyone's got any questions or anything they want to say. Okay, well, I think we'll end things there then. Okay, thanks a lot.